Arkham City, The Order of the World, issue 2. Dan Waters writing with Danny on the art. Did you read this, Matt?
I'm caught up.
You caught up? Okay, cool.
Issue 1 gave me the creeps this week. I was not ready for Ten-Eyed Man. Ripping jawbones out, but leaving the skin intact. What's that about? And I like how it's set post 8A and what that means for the city, that all of these, the Arkham weirdos, if you will, that some people have recognized. This is what I've noticed a trend maybe over the last 5 years, is that like the reason they're in Arkham Asylum isn't because they're criminal, it's because they need help. And that, some of them are beyond help, let's say like the Joker or Two-Face. But there's other Bat villains that do need help. And this series, I feel like Dan Waters is going to explore that. And, what does that do to the people that are trying to help them? That's what I got from the first issue. And then the second issue just goes off. I was like, hey, remember we're a horror book?
Yeah, I was quite impressed with the first issue. I was curious to see how it would keep going. Obviously, was it Jakarta as the Doctor?
Dr. Joy?
Dr. Joy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that like Joy Jakarta? I want to say. I feel like I don't feel like I've pulled this name. Jacosta. Yeah. Sorry, Jacosta Joy. There you go. I knew it was something like that. It says that was it. Double X is this Arkham escapee whose power gives off like a drug-like effect, right? So if you touch him, you get high. So there's a drug dealer who's got him chained up in his basement, and he's just charging people to come in and like touch him. So, so they get a kick.
Again, remember this is a horror book.
It's pretty horrific. Like some of the panels of him in chains, and he's just looking up, looks really sad, and like the art is a really interesting thing though. Like the visual, like on the title page of what this guy feels, this junkie feels when he touches them, with this like sort of white outline of his body that's bigger than him. With
it kind of reminded me of when I tried to read Doom Patrol, the Negative Man. It's an inverse of that. It's instead of the black, Negative Man, right? Yeah. Instead of the dark, shadowy outline, it's like a white, almost ghostly effect, and it kind of affects the person touching him here. But yeah.
Yeah, but we do go back to our doctor, who talks to the police, who are still investigating things. But of course, the big thing that was revealed at the end of the last issue is that she is actually harboring the Ten-Eyed Man, and is dealing with the fact that he's crawling around all creepy up on her bookshelf. He goes up to the roof. We also bounce between that and Azrael, who believes he has been, called upon to take out all these Arkham escapees and fix the city. But the Ten-Eyed Man's whole thing is that the city is Arkham City and that it's their playground. And he uses a map along with his eyes and a ritual to try and predict where certain, other Arkham inmates are. And he figures out where Double X is, right? He says one of us is locked away. And the whole time I'm thinking this doctor lady's like you don't realize how crazy this is? You're harboring this guy who's like a complete murderer. I mean, he literally came home with a jaw last issue.
Right, and you didn't ask, like, if my dog walked in with a jaw, I'd be like, where the hell did you get that from? But an inmate from Arkham, you're definitely like, no, we can't do this. Yeah.
Yep. What I thought was interesting is she goes into her narration here about how the Ten-Eyed Man like has a backstory that he's claimed, where he used to be a soldier, and how he got new optical nerves like put into his fingers and stuff. But she's like, there's no history of the guy he says he is, this Philip dude. And also, biology doesn't work that way. So clearly there's something more going on with him, and there's like a sort of lying element to his character. But he gets all up in her face and like accuses her of sabotaging the plan. So it's proper creepy and like dangerous at various points.
The way that the Tin-Eyed Man is standing around, it reminds me of Ragdoll from Secret Six and other books. And it's just, there's something about that level of contortionism that doesn't sit well, so you get to draw him at these odd angles. Like, I can't remember if it was this book or the first one where he's doing like the full standing on his hands and the feet are above his head, curling over, and it's so creepy to see those poses.
Yeah, a lot of contortion, all that sort of stuff. So the junkie goes back to get another fix of the of Double X, but Double X ends up breaking out when Azrael jumps in because he's watching, as is the detective. So the detective jumps out and tries to like stop Double X from running down the street because his powers are going haywire, and the woman who's like with the drug dealer takes a shot and actually hits the detective in the face.
It grazes him.
Yeah, so he ends up in hospital, and Azrael beats the shit out of Double X. Calls him a sinner over and over again. It's super violent, super bloody.
And a demon. No, don't forget that part. You know, Azrael seems to have gone from healthcare worker with Dr. Tompkins to full-on vengeance of the Order of Saint Dumas. Just back overnight, which I like. I do love crazy Azrael.
Yeah, so they talk to Joy about everything that's going on because she was the last person that talked to him on the phone. But you know, she's basically buying into Ten-Eyed Man's whole thing. We see like a map of Gotham where he's kind of drawn the layout of Arkham over the top of it. So like this district is the padded cells, this district is the whatever, you know. Super like just kind of foreboding stuff about like how he's looking at the city. So yeah, it basically just shows that there's different inmates still around the city. We see, I don't know if that's Dr. Phosphorus we see.
Yeah, so they talk about how Dr. Phosphorus and someone else are actually adapting to living outside of Arkham through Dr. Joy's help. But the neighbors don't know it's Dr. Phosphorus, the other one, you know. In that, I took that as that's almost what Arkham City means, is like these people upon release, like, yeah, they still have issues, but they're still living amongst everybody because they didn't actually need to be in the asylum anymore, at least. So
yeah, the other one from the back looks like a Splinter. So
yeah, I don't know who that is. I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ends with Azrael realizing about who the Doctor is through the
the paper.
Newspaper.
Yeah, it says Doctor of 1000 Maniacs, and it's basically Azrael's looking down and going, "Yes, my lord, I understand the Doctor." So now that doesn't necessarily mean that he's coming to kill her, but
no. She has some answers that he might need.
Yeah, but he's going to go for her, and maybe he'll discover some things. Maybe he'll discover the Ten-Eyed Man's been harbored by her. Maybe he will see her as a villain that he has to deal with, and that'll open up a lot of possibilities. Yeah, it was another broody issue. It was another issue where it felt like the city's just this cesspool of darkness and all the rest of it. I'm still intrigued. I don't think it was as good as issue 1, but
it's still pretty solid though.
Yeah,
like this is the Danny art that I liked. For whatever reason, the stuff in Miracle Molly wasn't working for me like it does here. Maybe because these are more shadowy, and it just kind of fits the vibe a little bit better. But yeah, I like you said, it's kind of moody. It's got a lot of like just creepiness baked in. Like it's hard for me to explain.
It's like Danny's art isn't like a very realistic style. It's definitely a very stylized thing.
Yeah.
But it kind of its nature that's a little bit off kilter works with a book where every character is meant to feel a bit off kilter. It's meant to feel like you're looking at a world. It's meant to feel kind of like Seven, but on a slight David Lynch twist.
Yeah,
very slight.
Get that. I can see that.
So I feel that as I'm reading it. And I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see, and I think a lot of this is going to be this Doctor completely in over her head and like being consumed by the madness. So we'll see how that goes. But no, pretty solid. What are you giving Arkham City: Order of the World issue 2?
I'm gonna give us an 8.
Yeah, I think I'm happy enough to give it an 8 as well.